Jeanne, I'll hand you this mic and then...
If we're going to not do as many, now that it's raining, we're going to cut this down. But I want to do this panel right there. That one. Yeah. That panel is a picture of Leonce Shaber and his son Albert. And Albert was my father-in-law. And his son Wayne Shaber is there in the red jacket taking a picture. Leonce and his wife Louise came as immigrants from France in the 20s, and they settled out first in Loudon and then later out on the Snake River, and near Eureka. They raised sheep first and then later dryland wheat and cattle. And now Barry Shaber, Wayne's brother, and his sons still farm the home place. And Mary Louise Shaber, Albert's sister, provided that photograph. Unfortunately, both Albert and his wife Mina died this past winter, so they were not able to see the completion of the mural. But they were hardworking immigrant family, and I'm proud to have them on the wall. Yep, wait a minute. Okay. Do you have a preference which one I do? Okay. I had something written down about is this one, which is Chikichi Hamada and Hatsutaro Kajita, who were Japanese immigrants, and they were making mochi rice in this picture, which is a traditional food at the Japanese New Year. They pound the rice in that looks like some kind of a box, but they usually do it in a traditional mortar, and there may be a mortar inside that box. And then they form the sticky rice into shapes. The Hamada family was interned at the Heart Mountain Relocation Center in Park County, Wyoming, and nearly 11,000 Japanese citizens and alien internees were housed there. And at the time, one of the Hamada's sons, Chuck, was serving in the U.S. Army. And families leaving internment camps were given $25 per family and a train ticket home. And the Hamadas came here, and they eventually established the successful and long-running Hamada Brothers Nursery and Greenhouse in Walla Walla, and their descendants are still actively farming here. And the Kajitas came here from Mosier, Washington, on VJ Day, Victory in Japan Day, August 14th, 1945, which was the end of World War II. And Hatsutaro, the man pictured in the photo, died in Walla Walla in 1968, and his grandson, Mark Kajita, is a vice president at Baker Boyer Bank in Walla Walla. Okay.
All right. Judith Johnson.
This panel portrays the ingredients of Hispanic food prepared in one of the longest family-owned and operated restaurants in Walla Walla, formerly ABC Taco, now Rosita's. In the 1940s, the Gonzalez family came to Walla Walla at the invitation of Rosita's uncle. Here they found they were treated with respect by the farmers on whose land they planted and harvested crops. We were treated as human beings, says Rosita's mother, Celia. Rosita's father, Encencio, or Al, a business entrepreneur since childhood when he shined shoes in Texas, was known for always carrying a dime in his ear to have change for a phone call if he needed it. Over time, he purchased, improved, and sold several businesses, allowing him to buy the Tasty Freeze, where the family changed the menu to recipes they had always served at home. Rosita soon joined her parents in the restaurant, where all her children and grandchildren have taken turns working. The Spanish words on the panel, bienvenidos, mean welcome to all, and are exemplified by Rosita's cheery greeting and conversations. The delicious tamales are still made by her 84-year-old mother, Celia. This is a panel of the Eng family. It's 3 of the 5 children of Rose and Bill Eng, Richard, Ina, and Stanley Eng, taken in the early 1950s, and they're sitting on the steps of the China building. This building was located on 5th and Rose, and it was demolished in 1962. In 1959, the building was bought by Virgil Davin, and lots of people know this building as the Davin Building. But in actuality, it was built by 20 different Chinese shareholders who put up the $20,000 for construction of the 2-story building in 1911. Richard Eng found these original stock certificates in his grandfather Jam's possessions and donated them to Fort Walla Walla Museum. Jam came to America in 1911. He returned to China when he was 24 to marry Wang Qi, and then he returned to America to work and send money home. It wasn't until 1957 that Wang Qi was able to come to Walla Walla. Jam and his son Bill opened the Canton Cafe on Main Street on October 14, 1949, the day before Stanley was born. A hard-working family, Rose worked there after Jam retired, and all the children helped in the restaurant as teenagers in the summer and on weekends. Bill kept the restaurant open until 3 a.m., and Richard has many memories of staying up till the wee hours of the morning. Now I'd like to introduce Hans, and he's going to tell us about the photography of this project.
Thanks, Gina. You know, it's interesting how things happen sometimes. Before I even moved to Walla Walla back in the mid-90s, I heard through Rob that the facade was going to be torn down, and I went and took a picture of it in its original location, which was where, Rob?
Alder Street. On Alder Street beside Big Blair Bank.
Well, an amazing picture, I thought, at the time, but I promptly forgot about it because I went back to Portland, and anyway, so years later, oh, here it is in its original location. So years later, when I got a call from Jeanne saying if I wanted to be involved in this project, you know, I had no idea what I was getting myself into. You know, it sounded like fun, and it has been fun, but it's been so much more than that as well. I've learned so much about the history and the cultural diversity of Walla Walla that Walla Walla has enjoyed since even before the town existed.